Hey guys, and welcome to the wonderful world of The Sims 4, where today we are doing a speed build of the Family Guy house. And I think I talked about this a little bit when I did the actual Kaz video of those Sims, and you can see them standing outside the front of the building there. But I had a little bit of a rough time making this house look exactly like the cartoon. And part of that is because when you go to build the second floor, in the cartoon, the second floor is actually in the roof. And you can't really build, you can, but they're not very playable if you build rooms within a roof. So I just went ahead and built a regular second floor and then added the roof on top. So it does not look exactly like the Family Guy house. And there's probably somebody out there that has a better Family Guy house. But I did make the Sims, and I did promise to make a speed build of their house. So I planned on doing that, and I wasn't going to go back on my word. As you can see here, I've already outlined the first floor, and the first floor looks really identical to the actual cartoon, especially since we got those garage doors in with City Living. I can actually put those in to make it look like there is a garage. So you will see me do that here in just a few seconds. The interior of the house I'm very happy with. It looks a lot like the cartoon, and you'll see that there's not a whole lot of decoration, and it doesn't look as detailed as my builds normally would. And you'll see that with the 100 Acre Wood build and with Cruella DeVille's mansion, how detailed I like to get some of the items and some of the rooms. But as far as the cartoon goes, I mean, they've got pretty blank walls in most of the places. Like in their living room, they do have a few pictures here and there. So I did hang up a couple of pictures, and they do have a basement. So I did add a basement, even though there's not any laundry room items, which I've talked about before. So it's not a laundry room. I do have it as a gym down there. Meg actually gets the largest bedroom in the house because for some reason the upstairs layout just was not working right. And the biggest disappointment for me with this build is that the master bedroom is actually the smallest. So the bedroom that belongs to Lois and Peter is actually the smallest of all of the bedrooms, and it's supposed to include, I think they have an ensuite bathroom in the TV show, but it gets a little confusing because I know there's the regular main bath that everybody uses that has the pink or orangey colored walls. And then there's another bathroom that's blue, and I think that that's supposed to be their ensuite. But I could not fit it in the right way. And maybe it also has to do with the way the roofing was done, because like I said, this is not exactly how the cartoon looks. So they actually do get the smallest bedroom, and Meg gets the largest. But that brings me to my next announcement, and that's that I plan on possibly doing an LP with Meg Griffin. And the plan is maybe to play with her and make her the most popular girl in school. And the way I'm going to do that, I'll have to write down the rules because I've been thinking about it, and I probably won't really play with the rest of the family much. It's probably going to be an LP based around Meg Griffin, who is my favorite character in the series Family Guy. So I'm probably going to age her up to be a young adult, and maybe this is going to be, after Meg has graduated high school and she's getting ready to kind of go out on her own, make her own life for herself, I guess. She's no longer part of Family Guy. She will start out here in the house with her family, obviously. But I am going to get her into the social media career, and once I do that and get her up to a certain level, I haven't really decided where I'm going to do that yet, what level, but as soon as I get her to a certain level, then I'm going to move her out and put her in her own apartment, her own starter apartment, and we're going to start saving up her own money. We're going to give her a makeover, and we're going to have her create her own clique, kind of. I know I think Connie is supposed to be the popular girl in the high school in the show. So Connie's character may come into play later on. And I don't know if anybody's going to like this because it is going to be Meg trying to please other people. That's going to be basically the whole point. And I guess while doing that, she may, come to find herself and figure out who she is. I don't know. That's a lot of touchy-feely crap that I'm just usually not into. Like I said, I like to have goals in a game, and it doesn't really matter to me what those goals are. I really just want to get her to the top of the social media career, and I want to get her to complete the It's one of the aspirations that has to do with creating your own club. So I'm going to get her to complete that aspiration. I also want to be able to have her make enough money to build her own penthouse, and we will build something that seems like she would like it, I guess. We're also probably going to make her fall in love, and start her own family, that kind of thing. But I don't know yet. I'm not really sure that that's going to happen. Like I said, I don't really like to do LPs because I get bored with them. But this has been an idea that I came up with just a few days ago. And I thought, it could be interesting. It could be something kind of fun. I probably won't do any more LPs with characters that I don't make up on my own. Meaning that, these characters are slightly pre-made. I mean, obviously I made them in my Kaz video and everything. But, they're not my characters. I didn't come up with these characters all on my own. They're from the TV show. So I really kind of don't like to do that, but I think this LP could be something interesting, and I think that people might like it. If you guys would like to see that, obviously leave comments down below, and if you have any ideas for that, leave those down below as well. So I think if I start doing that, it'll be in a few weeks, because Thanksgiving's coming up, and my birthday's coming up next week, so I'm gonna have a rough time to start something like that. I'm gonna need to have some time to work on it and think about it. And I've got finals coming up, so it's just not a good time right now to start something like that. But later on, as in like in maybe 3 weeks from now, maybe we'll see about revisiting this idea. I really like to get everything else that I've got going on under control right now. And I plan on picking up a couple more games to add to the channel. Right now, I've got Parkitect going and Five Nights at Freddy's, which I will finish in a couple of days. I'm going to be recording another part of that here in just a few minutes. I've also got all these speed builds. I've got the 100-acre wood going. I've got the Cruella de Vil penthouse going. But that should only have one more part to it. It shouldn't be very long. This video is actually going to be one of the longer ones, and I didn't see a need to split this up into 2 parts, even though it is close to a 30-minute video. I've said before I don't like to speak for longer than like 20 minutes, and that's just because, especially right now, my throat gets really sore because of the weather, and my nose gets stopped up, and I really have a hard time sometimes. You'll hear me sniffle every now and then, and I try not to do that while I'm recording, and I try to edit out if I do end up doing that during recording. So I really like to just keep the length of a video to minimum, like as short as I can, and I like to do that around 15 or 20 minutes, which is still a long video. I mean, if you really think about it, that is a long video. My best friend actually watched my very first video that I posted the other day, and she was like, "You better love me," because I sat there and I listened and watched to the whole thing, and I was like, "Oh, you didn't have to do that." But I really appreciate it. I've got really good friends and really good family that they are very supportive of whatever I do, and I really appreciate it. Because I know this, when you tell people that you're gonna start doing something like this, they're like, "Oh, okay, maybe that's a good idea." A lot of people I talk to don't even really play a lot of games, which is weird to me because I've grown up playing video games. There's never been a time when I haven't been interested in at least one video game. So that is weird. I don't know what other people do in their spare time. I mean, I watch TV, and I guess other people do too. Do they play chess? I don't know. I used to read a lot, so maybe people do that don't really play video games. That would make sense. I still like to read every now and then when I can. The last book I read was Dorothy Must Die, and if you've never read that, it's a really good book. It's kind of in like an alternate universe of The Wizard of Oz, and it's where Dorothy's actually the villain instead of the Wicked Witch. Or maybe that I shouldn't say that. Dorothy is the villain later on. This is after Dorothy has defeated the Wicked Witch, and someone else has to come to Kansas and defeat Dorothy because Dorothy has become evil. Anyway, it's a really interesting book. If you've never read it, you should read it. I think that there's actually a series, but I haven't read any more than the first one. I would like to. I don't have a whole lot of time to do that right now. As you can see, we're popping in this ugly green carpet, and that's exactly what's in the cartoon, so I did not want to stray from that. I used all the same colors pretty much from the cartoon, which are really weird colors that remind me of strange flavored Pop-Tarts for some reason. I know that made no sense what I just said, but that's what they remind me of. Those weird flavored Pop-Tarts that nobody ever eats, that have really weird colors on them, like a teal color on them, or just really strange flavored Pop-Tarts. That's what this house reminds me of. And it's what it has always reminded me of. This is not a recent thought that I've had. This has been like since I've ever started watching Family Guy, which was, I guess, when I was in high school. I started watching it because before then I really didn't care too much about it. I started watching it and I thought that this house, just the colors in it reminded me of Pop-Tarts. I know, that is a really weird thought to have, but it did. The garage here is actually one of my favorite rooms in the house, and I don't know why. I think it's because it's my first garage I've ever made in this game. Which we've had those garage doors now for a couple of weeks, so I could have made one before, but I haven't done a house build since City Living came out. I've been doing apartment builds, and I've been doing the 100-acre wood build, and I've been testing out a build that I have an idea for that may come out in a few days, actually. It just depends on how I can get it, if I can get it to look the way I want it to look. And I don't want to give anything away because it's a really cool idea, and it is something that I came up with on my own, which I am really excited about. Whenever I come up with like ideas that I haven't seen anybody do, I get so excited about it. It makes me feel really creative. It makes me feel kind of smart. Not that I'm not smart. I'm not really. I mean, I'm okay. I'm not an idiot. I'm not a total idiot anyway. Although sometimes I will say that I am an idiot. I'm just going to stop here. I'm just going to not even talk about it. As you can see, we have now moved to painting the walls, and we've moved upstairs, and we've done all the painting there and all the carpeting. So now we're going to be popping in the furniture. I think the furniture that I placed in the living room was the most accurate. That's because, there was a purple couch that you could get, and then those old looking lazy boy type chairs, those right there. My phone just went off, and I could have swore I turned it off. Oh well, there we go. Shouldn't go off anymore. Anyway, those old looking chairs that came from City Living are closer to the color of the couch and the chairs in the TV show. This purple couch here is a little bit too dark, but it looks good either way. It looks pretty decent. You can tell that how it's supposed to look, and I also wish that we had more options for staircases, because the TV show staircase actually comes down around the side there, like on the floor. It's not a straight down staircase like that. Like, it goes straight down and then it does like a curve to where the stairs come into the living room instead of just kind of cutting off right there. And so that looks a little strange, but that's okay. It's not that big of a deal, like I've said. But for other builds, I would like to have a spiral staircase, and I would like to have a staircase that maybe has a little landing on it, so that it's like almost like a double staircase type thing. I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about, but like a staircase that goes up, then it has a landing, and then it goes up again. So it doesn't go straight up, especially for taller buildings, for buildings with the tallest height walls. I really hate just having a staircase that goes straight up. I really wish we could have a landing that goes back the other direction, and it would look so much nicer, and it would look so much more realistic instead of having this gigantic, long stairway to heaven looking thing. I realize I say looking thing a lot, like looking thing, a strange looking thing. I don't know where that phrase comes from. I don't know why I use it. I don't feel like I use that phrase in every day, like when I'm talking to regular people. It's just when I'm making videos, and I think it's because I'm trying to get my thoughts out as quickly as I can, which I could probably slow down. I probably don't have to talk as fast as I normally do. I just use like phrases like that just to kind of fill in what I'm trying to say while I'm still trying to think about what I'm saying, because I'm the type of person that does not think before I start talking. And that can cause a little bit of an issue. And I've gotten a little bit better lately, especially since I've had debate classes and since I've had speech classes that have required me to talk more in public. I've gotten a little bit better with taking my time and not saying as much either. I know I do that a lot in videos. And I wouldn't do that so much if, somebody was here to talk to me. It's just when I'm talking to myself, when I'm talking to, I'm literally looking at a computer and just talking to myself right now, which sounds really crazy, but that's pretty much, what every YouTuber does when they're making videos. So when I do that, I'm just not quite used to it yet. I'm not really used to being able to think very quickly of what I'm going to say next, because it's not really a conversation. It's just you talking and talking and talking. The kitchen here, I actually really like where I put the garbage can, but I don't know if it works. I need to player test that, and if it doesn't work, I will fix it before I put it up on the gallery, because it's not on the gallery yet. However, it should be up shortly after this video comes out, which will be on Thursday, I think. Yeah, I think Thursday. I'm not really sure yet. Like I've said before, I've been doing videos in advance because I know I'm going to have family here with me at my house, cooking, and I'm going to be having to help cook next week. And my other grandmother, not the one that I live with, my other grandmother just bought a new house, and, she wants me to come help her move her stuff in. So I'm not going to be at home for a little while, and I've got finals coming up. I've got so much stuff to do. It's ridiculous. Like I've said before, I always bite off more than I can chew. I don't mean to. It just happens, and, I've never had a problem where I couldn't handle it so far. We'll see, though. As time passes, one day, the day will come whenever I can't handle what I've taken on. I really love those lemons in the jars there. They're just so cute. They are something that we would have at my house. Lemons sitting in, or limes. My dad really likes limes in his beer. So we would have limes probably more than we would lemons. Usually if, sweet tea is a drink that you make in the South, and a lot of people drink sweet tea with lemon, but I don't think anybody in my house does, besides maybe my dad might. I know he does when we go out to restaurants, but for the most part, in my household, we don't have to have lemon to drink in our sweet tea. That's just one of those things. Actually, me and my brother hate having lemon in our sweet tea, and we will fight each other at restaurants, stick our lemons off of our cups into each other's tea because we just hate it so much. I don't know. I don't know why we don't like it, but we don't. I don't even know why. I don't know who started doing that, but lemons in your sweet tea is just not good. A lot of people love it, but we don't. We do not love it. Anyway, those lemons are really nice. I think they came from either the Cool Kitchen stuff or the summer stuff. I think it was Cool Kitchen stuff. I'm not really sure. Don't hold me to that. This little room right here, I don't think we actually ever see much in the TV show. Maybe once or twice. And it is just a screened-in porch here with some green furniture right off the living room. And like I said, we don't see it a whole lot. I don't know that we ever have seen it. I know that we see the room back there where the piano is. I don't know. I'm trying to remember. And I've seen almost every episode of Family Guy like a million times. And I have no idea. I don't think we've ever seen it. I went off some pictures though that other people have online of what this room might look like. So that's what I did for it. I just put in a fireplace there and some furniture just to make it look nice. Sorry, you can probably hear, it sounds like an airplane or something outside. I don't live very far from an airport. I say not very far. There's an airport that's not, it's probably like 20 minutes from here. So, I'm not like right next to an airport or anything, but I'm fairly close. So, you may hear that every now and then. Right there, I just decided that the grand piano was a little bit too big. And since we don't have any of the flatback pianos, I just use that keyboard from City Living. And I thought, it fit in fine. As far as the stuff in the backyard, I know that they don't have a whole lot of that going on in the backyard, but I placed some items in there that, maybe the family would have bought. Like, I mean, a slip and slide in the backyard of the Griffin house does not sound like something very far-fetched. That sounds like something Peter would buy and they would really enjoy. That swing set, or the play set there, I thought maybe they would have bought for Stewie as he got older, since he's not a child in this, well, because I couldn't make him a toddler in my Kaz video, basically. So his room looks a little different, too. He obviously doesn't have a crib, and he's got a couple of other gadgets up there that are a little bit different than they normally would be in the show. So this build and its characters are representative of Family Guy, the cartoon, and of the house that they live in, but they are not exact replicas of them, and I've said that before in the Kaz video of the characters that I created. I just tried to get it as close as I possibly could, especially, when I started doing this build is when I actually started thinking of the Meg Griffin LP that I may be doing. So I tried to keep that in mind, and I'm kind of glad that she does have the biggest room in the house. So when we get up there, I will talk about how, that might benefit her during the LP, because she has her own computer. She has her own, big enough space for her to kind of hang out and build up her social media career. And I'm really not sure what I was doing just then. I paused for a second, and I have no idea. I may have been playing Battleships with my friend on my phone. That may have been what I was doing. I thought I paused the recording, though. I may have been trying to figure out, too, if the scale of this dining room looked right. Because I think in the cartoon, the dining table actually goes the other way, but it wouldn't fit right in this dining area. Like I said, it was kind of difficult to scale it the correct way in this build. And I really haven't done... Well, I've done replications of things like this in the past, and I've tried to replicate my own house that I grew up in, and it's so difficult. I don't know what it is. I don't know if certain items just aren't the same size as they are in real life or what, but I've had a really hard time in the past trying to build my own house that I lived in for 20 years. Almost 20 years, I guess. Probably not that long. I'm trying to think. I think I was like 5 when we moved in, but it was my grandmother's house before that. So, I mean, either way, I already knew what it looked like before then. So, if it's hard for me to get the scale right on a house that I've seen my whole life, just like you can imagine trying to get it right in a building or a house that you've only seen on a cartoon TV show, things just don't quite measure up the same way. They don't look exactly the right way. And I wonder, I just needed to plug in the cheat code to unlock that motivational poster there. That's all I was doing there. So all you do is bb.ignore gameplay unlocks entitlement, I believe. I think that's what it is. And it should unlock anything that you don't already have unlocked as far as gameplay goes. So things that you are required to, build up skill for or reach certain points in a career for are unlocked when you do that. And I don't like to do that if I'm doing a base game build or just a regular home build. But for buildings that I'm trying to replicate something, I don't mind doing that so much, because I like to have as many objects at my dispense as possible so that I can make things look as correct as possible, I guess. I really love the shelving unit here. It really looks like something that would be in your garage. It's perfect. It was perfect to go in here, because in some of the pictures I saw online, there was a shelf very similar to this. And I just put some random items up there. I thought, maybe because Lois is she's had her wild child days when she was younger. So, maybe that megaphone was from when she was younger and she used to protest things. I don't know. It made sense to me to have it in there. So that's in there. I think you can use that for certain activities. We've just moved up to the upstairs now, and I think the upstairs part was actually my favorite part to do. And that's because it really let me express the characters and how the characters, rooms would look. especially for Stewie, because Stewie at this point in time would be older. He would be a child and not a toddler, because we don't have toddlers yet. Please give us toddlers, please. I would really like to have toddlers in the game. It's so weird to me going from a baby in a crib to a like 9 or 10-year-old. It just looks so weird. So anyway, these rooms really let me express the characters in better ways, and they're not really exactly like the bedrooms on the TV show. And like I said, part of that is because the scaling just wasn't right in the house. You know, some of the rooms are a little bit bigger than others than what they're supposed to be. Like, this room is the biggest room in the house, and it's not the master, it's Meg's room. Which, if you've ever seen the show, you know wouldn't happen, because they all hate Meg. That just wouldn't happen. She would not have the biggest room, and she would not have the nicest things in her room either. But I thought, you know, maybe she's had a couple of jobs here and there, so maybe she saved up and she bought some really nice things. She bought that computer desk and that computer for herself so that she could start up her social media career as soon as she ages up. I think you have to be a young adult to join that career. I haven't tried it yet, but I'm assuming that you do. That could be a job, though, that a teenager could do. I mean, it's not something that, you know, adults are, or that's restricted to adults now. So, I don't know. I don't know if there's a restriction on that in the game. I think there probably is. I think you have to be a young adult to do that. We'll test that, you know, if I do an LP on it. And I may. It's something that I'm really considering, and I wasn't planning on doing any LPs, like, for a very long time, if ever. But it is something that I think is a really interesting idea, and that I think people might like, they might enjoy. You know, and I think the Disney builds that I've been doing, I think people might enjoy that as well. So it's just, you know, how things go from here on out, and how my channel grows, and, you know, what people tell me, what people suggest. You know, I want to make this channel grow, because I love doing this. I love building. This is something I'm very passionate about, playing games. And, you know, building on The Sims 4. So, you know, it's something that I think I'm pretty good at. I mean, I don't know. I'm not the best by any means. But I'm pretty decent at it. And, yeah, it's something I want to keep doing as well. If you see me place that little political poster in Meg's room, I know it seemed really random. And I wasn't planning on putting it in there. But then I thought about the fact that she did have a job in the mayor's office. So that may be an item that came from her job there. So I did put that in there. Like I said, I use these rooms to really build the character and kind of show things from the TV show, and kind of tie them into what may happen here in the LP if I play with them. We're just doing Chris's room now, and I did have to rearrange it a little bit. Originally, the TV was going to go against that wall over there, but then I didn't have enough room for the computer. And I think he does have his own computer for his own reasons, his own, you know, purposes. And you'll see me place a couple items in here, and I'm not going to say why I place them, but you'll probably understand why they're there. I thought the little void critter thing, the little void critter on the wall, was pretty interesting. You know, he seems like the type of guy that, even as he gets older, he'd be interested in playing void critters. So I went ahead and kept that on the wall there, just below that poster of the, maybe she was like a musician or something that he really enjoyed, or that he thought was really pretty. So I left that void critter just down there in the very bottom corner of that poster. And here's Stewie's room. Stewie's room is actually supposed to be one of the biggest in the TV show. And the main reason for that is just because he has so many gadgets in his room. I did add that little closet there in his room because he does have a weapons closet. So I thought, you know, that may be kind of like a symbol for his weapons closet that he's supposed to have. I did give him, you know, a larger kid bed instead of a crib, because he's not a toddler in this build. And I just gave him some of the children creative items, which are like the writing table and like the scientific table. And then I gave him I think it's like a DNA sampler table or something right there. But I thought it looked really scientific, and it looked like it would be in his room. I also give him several toys and items just laying around. And, you know, that bookshelf there, just to make it look like a kid's room, but it did need to look like Stewie's room. So I made it look as much like Stewie's room as I possibly could. And you'll see me add some scientific posters onto the wall and things like that, because I imagine as he gets older, he's going to be more and more into science and into maybe even villain type things. Maybe we could explore that in the LP. I said I wasn't going to play with the other characters, but Stewie's one of those characters that you just kind of can't forget. You kind of can't not play with. I also added the bubbles in there, so they're on the shelf. I don't know if you can grab them. I think that you can. Like, I think the sim can, like, kind of teleport it into their hand. I'll have to gameplay it. That poster there actually really reminds me of Attack on Titan, but it didn't really go in this room very well, so I took it off. And I added some more of the sciencey like posters. This is the main bathroom that I was talking about that we see a lot in the TV show, and I know the walls are yellow in it instead of the pink color, and that's because I wanted the pink in the tiles of the bathtub to stand out more. So we left the tiles in the bathtub pink, and we have some like creamy accents here and there to look more like the actual bathroom in the cartoon. And just a couple of items here and there in there to make it really, look decorated, look like an actual bathroom. And then we're going to move into the master bedroom here in just a moment, where you see that I do have a little bathroom off to the side there, and it was too big. The ensuite was too much, and you'll see me roll the camera back and forth a couple of times because I was thinking about opening up that wall there where that little blocked off space is and taking away some of Meg's bedroom. But I really liked Meg's bedroom, and since I was planning on doing the LP with Meg and not with the parents, I thought, well, it just would make more sense for Meg to have the bigger room for right now. That would be the better option instead of cutting into her room to give them a big ensuite bathroom. So that's what I did, and I also gave them a closet just because they didn't have one, and I thought, well, at least I can give them a closet if they don't have an ensuite. And I don't even know if it would have been big enough for an ensuite there if I had done that. This room is pretty cramped, but I mean, it's okay. Like I said, I'm not going to be playing with these characters anyway. You're welcome to change some things around if you download this off the gallery, which it will be available not long after this is posted. It'll probably be like 10 minutes after this is posted. So you'll see that soon, and we're just about to get into the screenshots. I've taken quite a few of one of every room, I think, and maybe a couple different angles in some of the different rooms. We'll first see the front of the house there, and then we'll move on to the back of the house in just a minute, and then we'll go through every slide of every room. And there's, you can just see Lois in her swimsuit where she's been on the slip and slide. I really appreciate you guys watching. Like I said, let me know what you think about the LP, if you like the idea. Let me know what else you would like to see from this channel, other games even. That would be great, because I enjoy playing most any type of game out there. I like horror games, I like RPGs, I like shooting games, I like everything. So you guys can let me know what you like and what you think about this build and what you think about the LP and what you think about other builds. If you do like these types of videos, go check out my channel, because there's lots more to come and plenty up there right now. I really appreciate everything, and thank you so much. I will talk to you guys soon.